Hey everyone, welcome back to Gamespot's E3 stage. I'm Mike Mahardy here as always with Lucy James.
Hello.
We are also joined by Justin, creative director on Skull and Bones. Thank you so much for joining us, Justin.
Thanks very much for having me. It's exciting to be able to talk about Skull and Bones and show the world exactly what we're trying to bring to life.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you got to show off at Ubisoft Conference and what you're showing on the show floor here and everything.
Well, I think in general, Ubisoft is proud to create games that are worlds that you can explore and experience and lose yourself in, and Skull and Bones is exactly that. Our game is set during the twilight of the golden age of piracy. It's a time when pirates are looking for a new place to hunt, and leaving the Caribbean, the fishbowl of the Caribbean, is something much bigger. The biggest hunting grounds that pirates have ever been able to hunt in, the most competitive, but also the most rewarding. And what we're showing this year is what we call the hunting grounds. It's a shared and competitive world where people can come together, either solo or form a gang of pirates, and hunt and terrorize the trade routes. It's just a good opportunity for us to show the essence of what our game is.
Yeah, we were just chatting beforehand, and you were talking about kind of designing a game with social media streaming specifically in mind, and allowing people to come across something that they'll be able to talk about, like these emergent things that you stumble upon. Can you talk about how that influenced the design of Skull and Bones?
We want to, obviously we believe in storytelling, right? But we want to empower our players to tell their own stories and give them a canvas where they can paint their own pirate legend. It's the foundation of what Skull and Bones is. We have a system that's called Fortunes, and what Fortunes gives us is an opportunity to create a different experience for players in every game mode, every single time they log in, something that's unique to that experience. It's a preset system that allows you to change the conflicts between factions, the weather, the ocean itself, the wind, the power of the wind, and the trade route. So every single time a player comes to a hunting ground, he's going to get his fortune read, learn about the state of the world, and then make the preparations that he needs to do to become an effective hunter in that session.
So how do I go about, if I wanted to log on and play, how do I go about jumping into the hunting grounds?
So you'll start in your hideout,
right,
which is your own base that you have your pirate gangs kind of set up in. You'll meet historical characters there, inspired characters, visit the tavern, listen to shanties, all the things that you would expect in a pirate's lair, and you'll customize your ship or ships. Add the right weapons that you want to add, recruit the right crew that gives you the best opportunity for success, customize and create your own flag, your emblems, your look, your feel, and then you set sail into the ocean. You'll also have an opportunity to get intel about the world, because for us, information is as valuable as treasure. And using that information, feeling smart, is something we want the player to feel every single time they sail into the world.
And what kind of playtesting did you have to do to account for the PvP aspects? I mean, like the PvP focus of the game, right? When we think Ubisoft naval combat, we look back at Assassin's Creed 3, Black Flag, and then Odyssey has a big focus on it now. But this Skull and Bones specifically has PvP. What challenges does that bring to the
game? Our focus is PvPvE, so we give players an objective that they define. We don't tell them to go out and say, do this, do this, do that. We say, what do you want to accomplish? Do you want to level up your ships? Do you want to recruit better crew? Do you want to socialize? Do you want to hunt other players? You decide all of those things. And we do it in a way where all of the resources are in a fixed amount in the world.
Right.
So if you think about, like in nature, if you're hunting, if you're a wolf, you're competing against other wolves for the prey, right? It's the same thing in our world. We create these conflicts where everyone has the same needs. Everyone has the same way to fuel their progression up the top, and that fuels progression, but it also fuels opportunities to ally and to meet other pirate gangs with the same exact motivations, to group together, to defend each other against other pirates and the empires.
So if we meet other pirates, other players, and we decide to ally with them, what kind of matchmaking is there to make sure that we stay together? Is it like a party-up system, any kind of lobby?
We want to create a fluidity within the world so that if I meet someone, I can temporarily form an alliance, and then we can go our own ways, or one of us could betray the other. I'm not that kind of player, but we definitely have them on our team. And also to form permanent bonds,
right,
to create a group of pirates, a gang of pirates that has the same objectives, that works season after season for rewards, to fuel them, their own motivations, their own ambitions to become too big to fail.
And you were just mentioning you calling it PvP.
PvPvE, yeah.
Yeah. And how do you So say I'm not like super into multiplayer games, Skull and Bones still could be for me if I'm jumping in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very conscious of that. We have lots of players on our team and in the community who maybe are a little averse to fighting, and you know, we are a shared world. You're never alone. There's always other players or the opportunity to meet other players, but you decide how you interact with them. We give you tools to be able to do that properly. You have a crow's nest, which allows you to get a 360 view of the world. You have a spyglass, which lets you get information about the other ships, to identify threats, whether they're human threats or whether they're NPC threats, and then take action to engage that player exactly how you want. You can hail a player, tell them you're not, you know, that you want a group, that you're not a threat, or you can disguise yourself as, you know, a Portuguese merchant, for example. Change your flag, sneak up on him, and you know, just attack him. We think those moments are really, really cool. We're seeing people play it every day, and you know, we want people to have the right ability along the way. So, for example, skill determines the outcome in our game. So it's not I'm a higher level than you, so I win. It's about how you're able to determine the outcome by being good, using the wind, learning the weapon systems, and becoming a more effective predator in PvP and PvE.
Just to piggyback off that, is there going to be any way, because obviously you're going to have people who are going to grief. It's an online game, it's what some people do, it's what some people do for fun. Are there going to be any, not punishments necessarily, but ways to discourage players from griefing?
Ubisoft in general takes toxicity very seriously. We want to have a very inclusive world in Skull and Bones. We have a community that's live right now on Reddit's, our subreddit, our Discord, and our live you know, official forums. So we're listening to the community, understanding what their concerns are. We have play tests. We play every single day to understand what those challenges are. And we want to enable the tools and the community to be able to counter that toxicity. The most important thing is to create positive social interactions, whether they're competitive or cooperative.
So I'm sure you can't talk about other games. I get that, and I don't want to put you on the spot. But so Sea of Thieves released recently, and I'm like last year during E3, it was like, oh, there's several pirate games that are about to come out. Well, not about to come out, but on the horizon. Sea of Thieves released, and it was clear that there is a huge audience for pirate games right now, or at least the fantasy of being a pirate. Is there any additional pressure on the team now that Sea of Thieves is out? I know it's being reductive to say they're both similar games, because they're very different games.
I understand exactly what your point is. Personally, I'm a big fan of Rare's games. You know, and I have friends working, you know, with the title, and I'm very happy to see the community have that passion for pirate games. It's something that we're happy about. We are listening to the community. We're aware of challenges that other games have had in their launches, and for us, it's about making sure that we're being very transparent with our community. We're understanding that we're creating something very specific to our strengths as a developer at Ubisoft Singapore, and we're creating a game with depth, replayability, long legs. We're a live service game. We have dedicated server architecture to create a safe, you know, secure and fun environment for people to play. Competition should be about skill. It shouldn't be about latency or you know, some of the other challenges you have when you're not creating a dedicated server architecture. And the other thing that we look at is, what is the essence of the pirate fantasy? And it's piracy. It's the attack and robbing of ships at sea. It's being on the high seas at the helm of a powerful ship. That's really what we're trying to focus on. Yeah, there have been very few times, if any, that a game has really nailed the pirate fantasy. Do you guys feel pressured to finally nail it? We're Ubisoft. I worked on Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and our team at Ubisoft Singapore worked on a lot of the Caribbean. We worked on the AC3 linear missions, the naval missions, and even AC Syndicate and the River Thames. We're water tech specialists. We are pirate specialists. We have the passion for it. And I don't know if you know, but in Singapore, we have a lot of guys on the team who actually have pirate blood running through their veins. We have guys who have a historical, you know, stake in this. It's something that helped shape the nations in the Indian Ocean and in Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia specifically. So it's an area we're hugely passionate about. I think that people are hungry for pirate games, and we want to make sure that we're listening to what they're expecting and being very transparent about what our game is and what we're great at.
Speaking of Ubisoft Studios, obviously like a lot of the times you will have multiple studios working on one game, but it's not just that. Like at the moment we've seen in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, there's going to be more naval combat. There was some in Origins. Are you guys all still working and talking together when it comes to the mainline Assassin's Creed games?
Yeah, working at this company has been really amazing for me. I've been at Ubisoft for 5+ years, and the collaboration between studios and projects is amazing. Without that collaboration, we wouldn't be able to share knowledge, experience, challenges, and we're trying to share what we're learning about making a game like Skull and Bones with other studios. At Ubisoft Singapore, we actually work on Assassin's Creed as well as Skull and Bones. So there's a lot of collaboration, learnings, but what we're trying to do is something very unique. We have a fully replicated, physics-based ocean. Every single player on our servers experiences the same ocean, the same physics, the same wind, and for us, we know that we're doing something unique, but of course we share that knowledge. We work on our game, the demo is worked on by Ubisoft Blue Byte, Ubisoft Chengdu, obviously us in Singapore, and Ubisoft Philippines as well.
You mentioned that you're creating the game, obviously like Ubisoft supports its games post-launch, and you said you're kind of like, are you looking at other games such as like Monster Hunter, Destiny? Are you going to be planning on updating this game with like weekly events, or is that going to be that kind of post-launch, or is it going to be traditional DLC? Have you announced plans like that yet?
We want content to unroll and unravel season after season, so we're always giving players, content that's not partitioned off or that's not, segmenting our audience. We'll release new regions. In fact, one of our partners is working, very, very hard on making sure that we can have that sort of content in Ubisoft Sofia, and for us, it's about giving players new ships, new content, new cosmetics, new crews to recruit, new regions to explore, so that year after year, season after season, they have new challenges, new pirate kings, legends of the sea to take down. All of those things are what we want players to see and feel like there's always something new to engage in, and that they're going to be missing out if they're not competing in those seasons.
And also, a lot of the times, games as a service are supplemented by loot boxes and microtransactions. Can you talk about whether they'll be in Skull and Bones?
I mean, people look at our demo and they're like, oh, loot boxes. But loot is a central part of the fantasy. It's something you earn when you're sailing, when you sink ships, when you recover or dig up treasure. It's a little early for us to talk about our monetization strategy or how we want to engage players, but what we want to make sure is that people know that they can earn the things in the game, that we're not partitioning off how we unload our content to players in every season. Yep. They can compete for those things themselves. We don't want to be pay to win or anything like that. We're all gamers on our team, and when we see those sort of things happen in the industry, we take it personally, and we've committed to our audience and our community to give them a way that skill determines the outcome. If you win a fight, it's because you're better. It's because you learned how to use that particular ship or that particular weapon, and you equip the right crew for the right situation.
Ubisoft recently has kind of built, or the individual Ubisoft studios and Ubisoft as a publisher have kind of recently built up a reputation for really good post-launch support. Rainbow Six Siege releases free updates all the time. They don't want to segment the audience. For Honor is going strong into their second year.
Yeah, the new DLC is great.
Yeah, and are you looking at other Ubisoft studios, or is there anything you're kind of like cherry-picking, borrowing from them that are influencing Skull and Bones?
mean, we have to take best in class. We have to look at how the communities are reacting to particular DLCs or mechanisms to engage the community directly. So we do apply those learnings, as well as using BI data, the metrics that they're getting from their performance, and understanding what people like, what they don't like, what they resist, what they embrace, and applying those lessons. We're being very proactive. We don't develop in a bubble. We look at other games in the industry as well to make sure that we're giving people the best possible experience when they come online. We want to keep them for a decade or more. Skull and Bones is not a game that I want people to walk in, play for 20 hours, and feel like they're done. I want them to feel like, what's next? What region are we going to explore next? What pirate kingpin is going to be in my face trying to take me down? And how can I get new ships, new RPG archetypes for the ships that I play? What's new? I want it to constantly be something that players are looking forward to what is coming down the pipe for Skull and Bones.
Speaking of players, obviously you mentioned that you have quite a rabid fan base already, talking on Reddit, on forums. How do you incorporate what they want to see in the game compared to the core game design that you guys want to implement?
Well, we're very passionate about the game we're building. We know that we have expertise both in the tech and the IP itself and the genre. But we do engage the community every single day. I'm active on our forums. I talk to our core group of fans. They're called the Keepers of the Code. And they're more than just fans of our game. They're people who are giving us active feedback, letting us know what the community buzz is, working on not just evangelizing, but sharing what the message is of Skull and Bones, and also giving us very honest and sometimes brutal feedback about the decisions we make in our game. And it's important that we embrace that feedback, and we adjust the trajectory of our game to account for that, and still also maintain a very pure vision about what we want to do, what we believe in, and what we know to be the best possible experience.
Awesome. Well, Justin, anything we didn't touch on that you want to tell people watching?
Yeah, absolutely. We have live phases that are coming on. Like I said, the community is super important to us. You can register for those live phases at skullandbonesgame.com. We launched in 2019, and for us, we have to use this time right now and those live phases to understand exactly what our game is, where we're heading, and get that feedback that's going to make the game the best pirate game that's ever been made.
Awesome. Well, Justin, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, and enjoy the rest of the show. And again, congratulations that you got the game playable and everything on the show floor. If you're watching from home, do not go anywhere. We are about to dive into an interview about Sony's dreams. See you then.